Right, can we start with the salawat, please? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa atil faraja. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, so let's just go quickly over what we started. We're journaling, the introduction. Hopefully we'll go to the color directory at some point. We did the Quran city map. I intend to do that sometime again. The M14. وَالْزَمْ قَلْبِي حِفْظَ كِتَابِكَ كَمَا عَلَّمْتَنِي. Every time you open that book, وَالْزَمْ قَلْبِي حِفْظَ كِتَابِكَ كَمَا عَلَّمْتَنِي. If you don't remember it, I want to fall in love with the Quran. That's basically what you're going to say. Right, we're going to go over the short focuses. Surah Al-Fatiha, summary of the Qur'an. Okay. Baqarah, history of faith. Okay, Ali Imran, establishing a Muslim identity. This should be coming out of your ears now. Okay, Nisa, the manifestation of that Muslim identity, and you will see it in the respect of women. Surah Al-Ma'idah, finishing touches of religion. Okay, An'am, they made their own, I know it's practical implications of Tawheed, but they made their own rules up. Okay, A'raf, come on, A'raf, you should know it. Those who rejected divine guidance. Okay, Anfal, characteristics of those who believe. Okay, Tawbah, hypocrisy is exposed. You're supposed to tell me this, not me. Okay, Surah Yunus, it's never too late, basically. Hud, lessons from past prophets. Yusuf, Tawakkul, trust, basically. Ra'at, Allah does not change a people until they change themselves. Ibrahim, there's the du'as of Ibrahim, it's quite simple. Hijr, the Qur'an does not need outside validation. The Qur'an or the Prophet doesn't need somebody to say you're okay. The Prophets used to say if you have a pearl in your hands and somebody calls it a peanut, it's not going to become a peanut. Right, Nahl, any idea what Nahl was about? 16. Life has a purpose. Okay, Isra, do you remember the 10 commandments we did? Yes? The Quranic version of the 10 commandments. And it talked about Isra. These are the 10 commandments. And we started Sura Al Kahf last week. And I told you Sura Al Kahf has 5 tests. The whole surah is basically in materialism. But it's talking about these 5 tests. And if you remember, it was Ashab Kahf, which is a test of, anybody? Test of faith. The gardens, which is a test of wealth. Then you had Shaitan, we will see him coming, which is a test of obedience. There's only one line. Then you have Musa and Khizr, which is a test of knowledge. And then you have Dhul-Qarnayn, which is a test of power. We're just going to go a little bit of revision. 18.1, when we looked at it, said that the last surah said, Qul alhamdulillah. And this one starts with Alhamdulillah. And we did the 5 qualities of the Qur'an. Hopefully that should be going on in your head, okay? We looked at Ashab al-Kahf, and we looked at the 2 gardens. So we're going to continue with Ayah 45 today. So if you look at your Qur'ans, for your Ayah 45, I think you have a sticker that is like the world, right? وَضْرِبْ لَهُمْ مَثْلَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. So it's telling you and me, this is the life of the world. Okay, this is the example. كَمَا أَنزَلْنَاهُ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ كَمَا إِنْ أَنزَلْنَاهُ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ. It's like water that comes down from the heavens. فَاخْتَلَطَ بِهِ نَبَاتُ الْأَرْضِ. اخْتَلَطَ is to put together. So in other words, the nutrients of the earth and whatever is planted in the earth sort of mix together, نَبَاتُ الْأَرْضِ, and you will see that this stuff comes out of the earth. Then it says, فَأَصْبَحَ هَشِيمًا. And then suddenly, when you say فَأَصْبَحَ هَشِيمًا, he said suddenly it becomes shredded. That stuff that grew up will become dry, or grew, and you thought, my garden looks beautiful, it suddenly becomes dry and it tears itself up. تَظْلُوهُ الرِّيَاحُ, and it becomes so light that the wind will carry it away and you won't see it. Maybe I can tell you in autumn, which is coming now, and it's already started, you will see leaves that go dry and they fall down. And you will step on them, And if you have a gardener, and if you don't have a gardener, you have one of those blowers, it just blows them away. That's all this ayah is talking about. وَكَانَ اللَّهُ عَلَىٰ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ مُقْتَدِرًا. And Allah is power over all things. So what he's saying is, what you have now is temporal. It's not going to last. Whatever you have, whatever in life that you thought was a mountain, it's nothing like that. It's going to go away. Then suddenly, in ayah 46, he's telling you what? He's saying, Al-malu wal-banuna zinatul hayatul dunya. Because you and me will say, my whole world is my wealth and my children. And he's saying, la la la, Al-malu wal-banuna zinatul hayatul dunya. It's just the icing on the cake. وَالْبَاقِيَاتُ الصَّالِحَاتِ. What you do that is permanent, that leaves behind, that your memories, your legacy, what you leave behind, خَيْرٌ عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ ثَوَابًا. It's better with your Rabb, and it's better for you in what you will hope in. You and I'm talking about me, probably say, I'm going to rely on my children. They have their own life. And if you try and rely on them, they think you're an interfering old bat. No? Please don't interfere in your children's lives. Leave them alone, okay? Especially when they're married. Ye jane na kam jane. You know what Gujarati means, right? They have to sort their lives out. So, this is basically what it's saying. It's saying don't hope in them. And if you hope in your wealth, don't hope in your wealth. It's not going to do anything to you. What you're going to do? Look at a bank balance when they bury you. Is that what you're going to do? I'm asking you. Are they going to bury your certificates? I mean, your statements, bank statements with you? No. And when you tell me that you're going to leave it behind for them, they're not even going to care. They'll probably wait for you to die. My grandmother, my nanny, used to keep a box under her bed. And she used to shake it all the time. And I used to ask her why she shook it. She said, they all think there's jewelry in there. There's nothing. But they think it is, and that's why they're being so nice to me. She should keep it locked. Okay, my nanny was smart. Anyway, 49. So, وَوُضِيَ الْكِتَابِ. So here we are. Al-mal wal-banuna zinatul hayatud dunya. And then he said in ayah 49, he says, وَوُضِيَ الْكِتَابِ فَتَرَى الْمُجْرِمِينَ مُشْفِقِينَ. Now here the word mushfiqeen, you could underline it if you want. Mushfiqeen is a combination of love and fear. I drew a heart plus fear, okay? Mimma fihi. So now he says, وَوُضِيَ الْكِتَابَ فَتَرَى الْمُجْرِمِينَ. Those who are guilty, when they see their book, they're a little bit worried. They're a little bit worried between love and fear. What is going to be in there? وَيَقُولُونَ. And they say, يَا وَيْلَتَنَا مَا لِهَذَا الْكِتَابِ لَا تُغَادِرُ صَغِيرَةً وَلَا كَبِيرَةً. It doesn't leave out even the smallest of things or the biggest of things. إِلَّا أَحْصَاهَا وَوَجَدُوا مَا عَمِلُوا حَاضِرًا وَلَا يَظْلِمُ رَبُّكَ أَحَدًا. And if I can sort of put it in our language, what he's trying to say is that everything will be put in one slide on a PowerPoint. You just have to look at your life. It's basically one chip. You know this contains your life, don't you? Or maybe it doesn't yours, but it does mine. I have all my kids' pictures, my bank stuff, everything is on here. If I lost this, God, I panicked. Oh, I know it's on the cloud, but still, I'd still panic. Just like that, imagine, that's going to be shown to you. This is your life. Okay, this is what you did. So, mushfiqina, when I say it's hope and fear, if I can say love and fear, it's going here, it's telling you, if they're guilty, it'll go more towards fear. So if you and I look at our life every evening and think, did I do my best or am I a bit scared of dying? We're going to die, by the way. If you're scared, then you've got to put it right. Okay? All right. 1850. Now, this is the next story. The story of obedience. وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ. By the way, if you look at the last ayah, it ended with the end of civilization. Qiyamah, right? This ayah starts at the beginning. It says, we told the malaikata, isjudu li Adama, do sajda to Adam. Fasajadu illa Iblis. Everybody did sajda except Iblis. It wasn't who you were doing sajda to. We weren't doing sajda to Iblis. You were doing sajda because it was an order of God to do sajda. It didn't say do it to Adam. Do it because I'm telling you that I've created the best of creation. Kana min al jinn. Very specifically, he was of the jinn. And therefore, jinn and human beings have free will. فَفَسَكَ عَنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّهِ. So he, you know what fusuk is? Right? You know what fasik? You know who a fasik is? A fasik is one who crosses the line. So he crossed the line with the order of his Rabb. أَفَتَتَّخِذُونَهُ وَذُرِّيَّتَهُ أَوْلِيَاءَ مِن دُونِي. And then Allah is saying, are you really going to take him and his people as your friends? وَهُمْ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌّ. And he's your enemy. بِئْسَ لِلظَّالِمِينَ بَدَلًا. He will change what is good in you to evil. He will justify everything to you. You can't blame it on him, by the way. Okay. All right. 54. وَلَقَدْ صَرَّفْنَا. And we now, if let's try and give you some words so you can understand it a bit more. Okay. Tasrif means to alternate. When something is alternated, it shows different angles. So, وَلَقَدْ صَرَّفْنَا. We have alternated different stories in this Qur'an of human beings. We have shown every aspect of the human being. If you read the whole Qur'an, you will see a reflection of yourself in it. And he says, مِن كُلِّ مَثْلٍ. Every example is given. From the righteous, from the very good to the very bad. To the evil, to the good. To the one who totters in the middle. To the one who is confused. To the one who needs help. He says, we've given you every example there. وَكَانَ الْإِنسَانَ. But the human being, أَكْثَرَ شَيْءٍ جَدَلًا. The first thing he does is argue. The first thing he does, you tell him any concept whatsoever, and he will start right away by either arguing, or he will say, don't agree with that, straight away. Especially if you pointed out something that's not right. He will make excuses all over the place. Okay, so that's 54. Maybe I could give you the jadala actually means an impulse in the human being to refuse first. Have you seen children? They'll first say no, and then they will agree to what you're saying. Exactly the same thing. Okay, now we come to a story. Beautiful story. So we're going to go through this story, and hopefully I'll be able to do it a little bit of justice. Okay? So I need you to listen to me to this story as it's supposed to be said. Okay, here we go. So first of all, you know that the Bani Israel, Prophet Musa and Bani Israel were exiled to the desert for 40 years. You know that, don't you? Okay, so he's used to all this. Now, while he's in this desert and he's talking to them, those who are with him say, Musa, we don't know anybody more knowledgeable than you. You've just got so much knowledge. It's absolutely amazing. He felt bad. He was desperate to find someone who would remind him of his limited knowledge. We even put the names after those little letters you get after your name. We put them on our cards and we give them out to people. Because we want to tell them how clever we are. The cleverest person is the one who knows he knows nothing, right? Anyway, so Musa wanted somebody to authenticate the fact that my knowledge is little. And he said, and you will see what he says. Okay, so now Musa, and I need to just give you a little bit of example of what he does. So Musa has an intern. Can I call him an intern? Somebody who follows him around, wants to know, like he's his teacher, and you will see him coming in. And we're told this intern was Yusha bin Nun. We don't know. Quran doesn't state his name. وَإِذْ قَالَ Musa. And when Musa said, لِفَتَاهُ. Fatah means a youth, a young man. So he tells his young intern, La abrahu, I will not stop. I need to find this clever guy. Hatta abluga majma al-bahrain, until we get to the meeting of the two rivers. Aw amdiya hukuba, or I will just go on and on and on for years. Hukuba is about 8 years. It's about a lifetime. You know, when you get to about 80, you sort of think, I know these days we retire at 6, is it 65, 66? I don't know, they've changed it. Used to be 60. 67, oh God. Okay, so now they've got to 67. But when you get to 80, you know you've got to sit down now. Okay, I mean, you take a little bit less, not climb mountains anymore. Okay. Anyway, so Hukuba is a lifetime. It's about 8 years. So he says, I don't care. I'm going to spend many lifetimes. I'm going to get where I'm looking for. فَلَمَّا بَلَغَ When they reach the junction, مَجْمَعَ بَيْنِهِمَا They reach the junction of the streets. نَسِيَ حُوتُهُمَا They both forgot the fish. Hut means a big fish. See, when you're traveling, I don't know whether you know this, even today if you're traveling, okay, you may get food on the carriers that you're going to, but if you're not going to get food, you take food with you, don't you? We recently went on, it's an Airbnb with 19 of us. That's how many kids and grandkids I have, okay? So we went to this place, and they said, Mama, you're going to sit, Mama. We're going to do all the cooking. I said, oh, that's nice. You and Papa are just going to sit. They bought 1 dozen eggs. For how many people? 19 people for 4 days. Are you serious? So when you're going on a journey, anywhere you go, you want to take a lot of food. So I had a big hut. Okay, remember this, okay? Hutuhuma. فَاتَّخَذَ سَبِيلُهُ فِي الْبَحْرِ سَرَبًا So they took this big fish in there, but they forgot about the fish. Now when you take a fish also, you take it cooked, don't you? When I took food, I made sure it was marinated because I had to go on the barbecue. Otherwise, you're going to have issues. You good? Okay. This is what they did. فَلَمَّا جَاوَزَ So when they'd gone a bit further, قَالَ لِفَتَاهُ He told this young intern of his, آتِنَا غَدَانَا Bring me some food, I'm hungry. Okay? لَقَدْ لَقِينَا مِنْ سَفَرِنَا هَذَا نَصَبًا I'm so tired. Now this guy is sitting on his boat, imagine, this intern. Musa is asleep, suddenly he gets up and he says, I'm hungry. Now Mufassirin tells us that if he's hungry means that he's past where he had to go. Right? So he was hoping to get there at lunchtime, but he got past it. Okay. Qala, he said, his intern said, أَرَأَيْتَ إِذْ أَوَيْنَا إِلَى الصَّخْرَةِ Did you not see that when we got to that boulder, فَإِنِّي نَسِيتُ الْحُوتِ Now remember that up there it was we forgot, here it is I forgot that big fish. وَمَا أَنْسَانِيهُ إِلَّا الشَّيْطَانِ And he made an excuse. He said, it wasn't my fault that I forgot. Shaitan made me forget. And أَذْكُرَهُ وَاتَّخَذَ سَبِيلَهُ فِي الْبَحْرِ عَجَبًا And you know what? I was just sitting there and suddenly this cooked fish jumped out and he went into the river. Now imagine an intern telling his teacher, you know, sometimes when you're bored and you don't have an iPhone and you don't have any reels to look through, there's a level of mixture in your head between truth and falsehood. And sometimes you think you're imagining things. So he says, where's the fish gone? It was here. I sort of vaguely remember he jumped out and went. So Musa then, okay? I'll see what Musa says. Kala, he says, that's exactly what was supposed to happen. That fish was supposed to show us our way. ذَلِكَ مَا كُنَّا نَبْغِي فَرْتَدَ عَلَى آثَارِ مَا قَصَصَ We need to follow his footsteps step by step. Qasasa is to follow, it's like putting your footsteps in somebody's footsteps. Do you remember which direction the fish went? Did the fish leave a wake behind? I need to go follow that, okay? So they did. There was a wake that he left behind. Do you know what a wake means? You know when those aeroplanes pass by and they leave those clouds? Okay, good, that's a wake. For wajada, and they got there, they followed the wake of the fish. They came to where the seas met. For wajada habdan min abdina. They found a slave of ours. Somebody who was attached to us. Allah doesn't give us a name. But we say, from what Mufassirin tell us, this was Khizr. Wherever he sat, things became green. If your plants don't grow, right? Khizr on the trees. Okay, I'm not messing. It works. I don't know whether you have that, but my house plants always dying in the winter because of the heating, right? Right, Khizr on them. Okay, so وَجَدَ عَبْدًا مِنْ عَبْدِنَا آتَيْنَاهُ رَحْمَةً We gave him rahmah min indina from us. وَعَلَّمْنَاهُ مِن لَدُنَّا عِلْمًا. But we also made him very knowledgeable. The word ladunna, when we come to the other parts of the Quran, you will see, is far stronger than ataynahu. In other words, we seeped him in knowledge. We gave him knowledge. Okay, so what happens? قال له موسى. So Musa tells him, هل أتبعك على أن تعلمني مما علمت رشدا. You know what? I am Musa. This is Yusha bin Nun, and I want to follow you because I want you to teach me knowledge. Who is this guy? The person they say was the most learned. He had interns who were willing to row boats for him and sit with him and just sit after him. He is telling this guy, I want to know, I want to learn from you because I've been told that you are really clever. What is he said? Qala innaka lan tastati'a ma'iya sabra. That means he already had Musa's CV. If he said, you can't just tell somebody you can't do this. He said you will not be able to have the patience to understand. That means he from divinity already had Musa's CV. And you know how Musa got really, really angry when something was wrong. You know that, don't you? Yeah. And every 2 minutes he would run up to the mountain and say, Yahweh, this guy's not doing good. Whatever. Okay. وَكَيْفَ تَصْبِرُ عَلَى مَا تُحِيطُ بِهِ خَبْرًا. And how will you have patience? Because you don't have comprehensive knowledge. You just jump to conclusions. He says, قَالَ سَتَجِدُونِ إِنْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ صَبْرًا. This is like a lesson on inshallah. He said, inshallah, you will find me patient. But وَلَا أَعْسِي لَكَ أَمْرًا. And I will not disobey you in any matter. What did he forget? He forgot to say inshallah there. Can you see that? He only said inshallah in the first bit. He didn't say inshallah in the last bit. Lesson for me and you? Inshallah all the time. Not the koja one, the proper one. If Allah wills. Okay. Kala. So he says, فَإِنِّكْ تَبَعْتَنِ. If you follow me, فَلَا تَسْأَلْنِي. Don't ask me questions about anything. أَنْشَيْءٍ حَتَّى أَحْدَثَ لَكَ مِنْهُ ذِكْرًا. Until I tell you about it. Don't ask. So what happens? فَانْتَلَكَ. They went. حَتَّى إِذَا رَكِبَ فِي السَّفِينَةِ. And they climbed into a boat. خَرَكَهَا. Musa goes down onto the bottom of kharaka is to tear. And he tears the plank out. Kala, Musa says, Musa doesn't, by the way, Khizr does this. So Musa says, Kala akharaktaha litughriqa ahlaha. What are you doing? What's wrong with you? You're wrecking this boat. We're all going to drown. Laka jitta shay'an imra. But this is not a good thing. This is really bad. Okay. So I'd like you to, I think you've got a boat there to stick, haven't you? Right? Okay. Imra means unethical or illogical. It makes no sense. How can you just go into a boat and rip it apart? He says, Kala, alam akun innaka lan tastati'a ma'i sabra. Didn't I not tell you, you will not have patience? Okay. Kala, la tu'akhidni. He said, you know what? Don't take me to task for this. This is something that bima nasito. I forgot that I wasn't supposed to say anything. Can you know this scenery with children? I forgot you told me. وَلَا تُحْرِقْنِي مِنْ أَمْرِي أُسْرًا. And you know what? Don't make me pay for this. It's a mistake. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. فَانْطَلَقَ حَتَّى إِذَا لَقِيَ غُلَامًا. And they met a young boy. فَقَتَلَهُ. And they killed him. Musa says, قَالَ أَقَتَلْتَ نَفْسًا زَكِيَّةً. How can you kill somebody who's innocent? بِغَيْرِ نَفْسٍ. He hasn't done anything wrong. لَقَدْ جِئْتَ شَيْئًا نُكْرًا. Now that is not only illogical, but it's wrong. أَمْرَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَالنَّهْيِ عَنِ الْمُنكَرِ. This is wrong, totally wrong. You're just killing someone. قَالَ أَلَمْ أَقُلْ لَكَ. Did I not tell you? إِنَّكَ لَن تَسْتَطِيعَ مَعِيَ صَبْرًا. You will not have patience. قَالَ إِنْ سَأَلْتُكَ عَنْ شَيْءٍ بَعْدَهَا. If after this I ever ask you anything, فَلَا تُصَاحِبْنِي. Don't take me with you. قَدْ بَلَغْتَ مِنْ لَدُنِّي عُذْرًا. And I promise you that I will not make any excuses. I'm not going to ask you. فَانْطَلَقَا. Okay, they moved. حَتَّى إِذَا أَتَايَا أَحْلَ قَرْيَةٍ. They came to this town. استطعم أهلها. And these people, they asked them from ta'am. Ta'am, what ta'am? They asked them for ta'am. فأبوا أن يضيفهما فوجد فيها جدارا. And they refused. They won't even give them food. They're tired and hungry. And then they see this broken wall. يريد أن يقضى فأقامه. And Khizr helps to put it up straight. He said, لو شئت لاتخذت عليه أجرا. All you had to do was ask them for some money for building the wall. They didn't even give you food. What are you doing? Kala, he says, that's it. Khalas. هذا فراق بيني وبينك. This is where you and I part company. So ينبئك بتأويل ما لم تستطيع عليه صبرا. I will just tell you an explanation of what you didn't have sabr for. Khalas, we were separating. أما السفينة, he said, the boat. فكانت لمساكين. It belonged to people who didn't have any money. They were poor. يعلمون في البحر فأردت أن أعيبها وكان وراءهم ملك. This king was going to take all their boats away. يأخذ كل سفينة غصبا. He was just going to take them all. And the reason why I made a hole in it, he says, was because I didn't want the king to take it. He wouldn't take anything that had a problem in it. وأما الغلام, and the child or the boy, فكان أبواه مؤمنين. His parents are proper. They believe in God. فخشينا أن يرهقهما طغيانا وكفرا. He was a criminal. He would have brought them into ingratitude and disobedience because he committed crimes at that age. He was trying to save society from crime. Okay. If I told you in hindsight today that this person, if Khizr told you and me, I wouldn't be able to tell you. If Khizr told you and me that this person would grow up to kill thousands of children in Gaza, what would you do? What would you do? Even if God didn't tell you, what would you do? You do something, wouldn't you? You would do something. You'd probably put him in chains. Whatever you did, this was Allah. Look what he says. If you look at this, he says, فَأَرَدْنَا. So we desired. It's not فَأَرَدْتُ. Let me go back. فَأَرَدْتُ. Can you see it? I did this. But what does it say about murder? فَأَرَدْنَا. My Rabb said this. أَن يُبْدِلَهُمَا رَبَّهُمَا. That your Rabb will give him in exchange خَيْرًا مِنْهُ, a better child. زَكَاةً وَأَقْرَبَ رَحْمًا. Somebody who is much, much better. Now the word used here, by the way, any idea? It's called ruhma. Ruhma does not mean anybody just have mercy. It's two things. It's mercy plus family ties. So somebody who is more attached to them. Okay. Right, وَأَمَّا الْجِدَارُ, and the wall. فَكَانَ لِغُلَامَيْنِ يَتِيمَيْنِ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ. There are two orphan boys in this town. وَكَانَ تَحْتَهُ كَنْزُهُمَا. Their father has put treasure. وَكَانَ أَبُوهُمَا صَالِحًا. Their father was righteous and he put treasure underneath it. فَأَرَادَ رَبُّكَ أَنْ يَبْلُغَ أَشُدَّهُمَا. The Rabb wanted that they would be able to get this inheritance once they became baligh, or once they became old. وَيَسْتَخْرِجَ كَنْزُهُمَا رَحْمَةً مِنْ رَبِّكَ. And nobody else would find the treasures except them. وَمَا فَعَلْتُهُ عَنْ أَمْرِ ذَلِكَ تَعْوِيلُ مَا لَمْ تَسْتَطِيعُ عَلَيْهِ صَبْرًا. And this is what you didn't have sabr about. You know, when something happens, 90% of time, you and I do not have the sabr to understand God's will. You can't fight with God. You can fight with everybody else in the world, but you cannot fight with God. When somebody dies, when something happens, you can't fight with it. You just can't. Something that is not in your control, you cannot fight with. I'm going to tell you something that you will hopefully remember, and it won't go out of your head. My eldest granddaughter has got severe cerebral palsy. I've talked about her many times. And I remember when she was born, I remember it's 10 years ago, but it's still very, very stark. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, what happened? because she was born without breathing. She managed to breathe. They said she'd live a day. Then they said 5 days. Then they said 5 months. And they said 6 months. And they said a year. Then they said 2 years. And whatever they said it was, right? You can't fight with God. You have to see the goodness in all that. All of it. And there was one dua that was taught to me by a teacher of mine, which said, Ya Allah, I don't want you to change destiny, but I want you to show me the goodness in all this. It's a beautiful dua, and it comes with the word Ya Latif. I will try and put it, in fact, I'll ask Fatim to put it on the group. So whenever you're going through a difficult time, look at it. Just look at it. Just look at that dua. It has an amazing effect. Okay, all right. Let me go. I'll tell you a little bit more about it later. I may have 5 or 10 minutes. I need to finish this. وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنْ ذِي الْقَرْنَيْنِ. So this was the last one now. They're asking you about Dhul Qarnayn. Mufassirin tell us he might be Cyrus, was a Persian ruler. Dhul Qarnayn means somebody with 2 horns. Now they say that on his cap, he had 2 horns. And these horns represented Persia and Media, which he united. He united those two. It may be knowledge and strength that was united. It may be that he lived in 2 eras. It could be a lot of things, but he was known as Dhul Qarnayn. So if you can imagine somebody with a metal cap to protect his head, which had 2 little bits on it, which reminds you straight away that he had to do with duel. Okay, so Allah says, they ask you about Dhul Qarnayn. قُلْ سَأَتْلُو عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْهُ ذِكْرًا. Okay, we'll tell you a little bit about him. إِنَّا مَكَّنَّا لَهُ فِي الْأَرْضِ. We established him in the earth. وَأَعْطَيْنَاهُ مِنْ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ سَبَبًا. And we gave him every single means. So the means he was given was absolutely everything. It's not like he was not given anything. Whether it was economic means or whether it was tools or whatever it was, he had them all. Okay? So he was given all the sabab. Now, sabab is a very difficult word. I'm trying to see if I can give you some more imagery about it. Financial or material means, but sabab can also mean a mission. So keep that in mind, okay? Sabab is tools, means, whatever you want to say. So he was given all sorts of resources. Maybe I can put resources, it's a bit better. فَأَتْبَعَ سَبَبًا. Now this is the first mission. Okay, he goes. حَتَّى إِذَا بَلَغَ مَغْرِبَ الشَّمْسِ. So this is his first mission. And this mission is going towards the west, where the sun sets. And Allah says, وَجَدَهَا تَغْرُبُ فِي عَيْنٍ حَمِيَةٍ. And he found there this water that was hamia, that was muddy, that was really stinky, muddy water. وَوَجَدَ عِنْدَهَا قَوْمًا. And he found there are people, قُلْنَا يَا ذَا الْقَرْنَيْنِ إِمَّا أَن تُعَذِّبَ وَإِمَّا أَن تَتَّخِذَ فِيهِ حُسْنًا. What are you going to do with us, O Dhul Qarnayn? And Allah is telling him, you can punish those who are unjust, and you can be good to those who are righteous, or you can forgive them all. It's up to you. كَالَ أَمَّا مَنْ ذَلَفَ. So he said, those who are unjust will be punished. That means those who were criminals will be punished. And those who are good, they will not be punished, basically. Okay. Which is the second line. وَأَمَّا مَنْ آمَنَ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا. I'm going a bit quickly because I know I have to finish. Okay. ثُمَّ أَتْبَعَ سَبَبًا. So he's conquered the west. He's conquered the west of the world in that particular time. And there he has punished those who are unjust, and he has been good to those who are righteous. Are you good with that? Okay. So now this is the second mission. Number 2. There's 3 missions. This is the second one. حَتَّى إِذَا بَلَغَ مَطْلِعَ الشَّمْسِ. Now he goes where the rising sun. So he goes to the east. And when he goes to the east, وَجَدَهَا تَتْلُو عَلَىٰ قَوْمٍ لَمْ نَجْعَلْ لَهُم مِّن دُونِهَا سِتْرًا. He found a people whose houses had no roofs. There were people who didn't have roofs on their houses. Can you see that? They weren't covered against the elements. كَذَلِكَ وَكَذَحَتْنَا بِمَا لَدَيْهِ خُبْرًا. And he did exactly, that one word كَذَلِكَ says, he did exactly the same things he did in the West. Punished those who were, he conquered them, he punished those who were unjust, and he left those who weren't. ثُمَّ أَتْبَعَ سَبَبًا. Third mission. How many missions? 3. Third missions. حَتَّى إِذَا بَلَغَ بَيْنَ السَّدَّيْنِ. Now he came to the middle of 2 mountains. Sad in Arabic is known as a dam as well. Okay, but Sad is also known the middle of two mountains. وَجَدَ مِن دُونِهِمْ, I found a people common لَا يَكَادُونَ يَفْقَهُونَ قَوْلًا. He couldn't understand them. He couldn't speak his language. He couldn't speak a language. But must have found a way to it. Sign language. قَالُوا يَا ذَا الْقَرْنَيْنِ, they said. So obviously he found a way to communicate. إِنَّ يَعْجُوجَ وَمَعْجُوجَ مُفْسِدُونَ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Yajuj and Majuj are really causing havoc. Now Yajuj and Majuj are known as many things, but maybe in our Mufassirin tell us that there are two forces that are really destructive. Okay, so don't know who they are. Lots of different things that you might read about them, but as far as you and I are concerned, there are two very destructive forces. مفسدون في الأرض, they cause mischief in the earth. فهل نجعل لك حربا على أن تجعل بيننا وبينهم سدا? Can you put a dam in between us and them? So can you put a border in between us and them so we don't cross over? You know the border that the American president wanted to put, yes? Think of that, okay? He says, Kala. He says, look, I'm not going to do this on my own. You're going to learn. I'm going to teach you what to do. ما مكنني فيه ربي خير فأعينوا بي قوة أجعل بينكم وبينهم ردما. And I'm not even going to put a dam. He says, I'm going to put a radma. A radma is two bits of metal with sand in between. Do you know your houses here have two walls, yes? And there's a middle in between, which sometimes is filled in by these people who come in to say they want to whatever. Well, while if you go to the States, you just have to huff and puff and blow and the house blows down. Okay, so you don't have two walls. So are you good with Radma? Yeah, it's British houses. Okay. Atuni Zubur al-Hadid, bring me blocks of iron. Hatta iza sawa bayna sadafain. And he filled up the space with the mountainsides. They filled it up. Kalanfuhu, then he says, blow hatta iza ja'lahu naran, until you get fire going. And then in this fire, we're going to melt some more metal and we'll put it between these two bricks. So you can have bricks of metal and then metal in between. Then he says we're going to polish it so that it becomes so smooth nobody can climb it. Okay? فَمَا اسْتَطَاعُوا أَنْ يَظْهَرُوهُ مَا اسْتَطَاعُوا لَهُ نَقْبًا قَالَ هَذَا رَحْمَةً مِنْ رَبِّكَ. When it's finished, he doesn't say, I did it. He says, this is the rahmah of my Rabb. فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ رَبِّي جَعَلَهُ دَكًّا وَكَانَ وَعْدُ رَبِّي حَقًّا. And the promise of my Lord is awesome. Okay, I'm trying to hurry up. Qul. And then Allah says, shall we inform you? هَلْ نُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِالْأَخْسَرِينَ أَعْمَالًا. Shall I tell you who is a loser? Is that how you say loser? With the L. Come on. Okay. He seems a loser. الَّذِينَ ضَلَّ سَعْيَهُمْ. The one who strives so hard فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَهُمْ يَحْسَبُونَ أَنَّهُمْ يَحْسِنُونَ سُنَّةً. And he thinks he's done such a great job. And it's not only a company. It's not only wealth. It's also somebody who says, I built this mosque. I did this. Do you know what? I did whatever. Okay? Do you know what Bahlul did, don't you? Sorry, I'm going to hurry up. So one day this guy has built a mosque and he's put, say it was Masjid Muhammad. He's put that name, his name up there. Bahlul in the middle of the night goes and puts Masjid Bahlul. Because he asked him the day before, who have you built this for? He said, for God. So he put Masjid Bahlul. The next day the guy comes and he goes, why is God Masjid Bahlul? He said, you said you built it for God. What difference does it make? What name I put on there? Are you good? Okay, great. So you know what the loser is. أولئك الذين كفروا بآيات ربهم ولقائه فحبطت أعمالهم فلا نقيم لهم يوم القيامة وزنا. So these people are those who disbelieve in Allah. Okay, we talked about this in the other surahs, but we're going to finish with the last two ayah. The last two ayah talk about the Qur'an and the Prophet. I need you to just listen to me a little bit so you never forget this. Okay, I'm going to try and bring لو كان. If the seas, you know what midada is? You know what mud is? Mud is to stretch. Now there are two words for ink in Arabic. Oh, there's more words, but I'm going to use two. One is hibr, H-I-B-R, hibr. The other word is midad, because ink is an extension of your thoughts onto paper. You understand what ink does? It's an extension of your understanding, of your thoughts, of whatever you want to say onto paper. So here it says, "قُلْ لَوْ كَانَ الْبَحْرُ مِدَادًا." If the seas were there, and there was an extension of the words of your Lord, لِكَلِمَاتِ رَبِّ, words of your Rabb, لَنَّفِذَ الْبَحْرُ قَبْلَ أَن تَنْفَذَ كَلِمَاتُ رَبِّ وَلَوْ جِئْنَا بِمِثْلِهِ مَدَدًا. You could add sea upon sea upon sea, but the words of your Rabb will not end. So that's the awesomeness of the Quran. And then it ends with your last ayah, which I haven't got here, but you've got it, 110, which looks at the humility of the Prophet. It says, قُلْ إِنَّمَا أَنَا بَشَرٌ مِثْلَكُمْ يُوحَى, I am only a human being like you. And إِنَّمَا إِلَهُكُمْ إِلَهٌ وَاحِدٌ, all I've come to tell you is that there is one God. فَمَنْ كَانَ يَرْجُو لِقَاءَ رَبِّهِ, whoever hopes to meet his Rabb, all you need to do is manifest your belief into good deeds, and don't ever put anybody ahead of your Rabb in your life. Okay, so that's Sura Al Kahf. I'm sorry I had to rush through it, but it's an absolutely phenomenal surah. Inshallah, next week we'll go to Maryam, which most people here know, but it's good to do some revision of it. Then we have a Surah Al-Fatiha. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. صدق الله العظيم.